Okay, Sergeant First Class Gary Varberg from the 817th Sapper Unit out of Jamestown.
Great. And when did you join the Guard? Let's start at the beginning.
I actually got in December of 1980, but I didn't put my hand in the air until the 19th of January of 81.
Right. So, and when did you start with the marksmanship team?
Just about immediately, because I'd shot, when I first got into the Guard, I had got in the Air Guard out of Fargo, had a lot of the high power shooters. I started out shooting national match. And after I shot a few civilian matches, they seen this and they said, why don't you get in the Guard? We'll give you guns, we'll give you bullets. So I decided that was probably good enough reason to get in, because I just loved to shoot.
How did that work out for you for 30 years?
Worked out pretty good. I've been places and seen places I never thought I'd ever see. I've been to Australia 4 times, been to England 7 times, South Africa, France, Germany.
How many times have you shot this course?
I've shot this course 28 times, won it 28 out of that 28 times. The 2 years I didn't get to shoot, I was in Iraq. So.
How does it feel being on the sidelines this year?
Well, like I was telling Colonel Herta, I said, you know, my finger hurts today. It doesn't feel right. It'll catch on. I've coached before for the All Guard a little bit, but I suppose it'll come along. It's just going to take a year to get used to it.
No regrets?
No. You got to know when to call it quits. You know, the older you get, the eyes are going to start going worse. And the big thing is I just never ever wanted anybody to come here and beat me. That was one of my goals. I always wanted to go out perfect, and it's worked that way.
Any guys coming up that you're luckily you're not shooting against today?
I got one guy that we've worked with that I've trained pretty good, and that's Messer. He's on the All Guard team now, and he shoots pretty good, but he knows better. If I wanted to, I could grab it and beat him today.
Has he shot against you?
Oh yeah.
Many times?
Yep.
So he can't say when you today that if he only had one more time.
Yep. No.
Okay.
No, it's a good feeling though. The Guard has really done things for me that, you know, has been amazing by being on the marksmanship team.
So were all those travels with the All Guard team?
With the All Guard.
Okay, I didn't know if some
Yep.
were separate.
Explain what All Guard team is.
The All Guard team is the composite team out of all 50 states and Puerto Rico, Guam, Virgin Islands, all gathered together. They take the best shooters and you go down for a tryout. If you do well enough on the tryout, they usually invite 30 people. If you do well enough, you come on to the team. I'm lucky enough, the very first year I went down there, I won the whole thing. So I was exempt for life. If I want to go shoot on the All Guard again, I can. So if you ever win the tryouts, you're exempt for life.
And is that a one-time deal then, you mean? Or?
That was, for me, it was just a one-time deal. I went down and won it the very first year. So.
But every year you could win the trials and then?
Nope,
okay.
Nope. Once you're done with the trials, you don't go shoot them again.
Okay.
You're done.
Okay.
You're automatically on the team. They ask you where you want to go, and then they make up for whoever they pick up the next year. I managed to stay on for 16 years. And the last time I got back from Iraq, they called me and wanted me to come back and do it again. I said, no. I said, I've had enough of the All Guard. I said, I got to start spending more time at home. So seems like deployments will make you kind of figure that out real fast.
So how did you fare in all these international competitions?
I've done pretty well. In England, I finished 10th once out of all their soldiers. And in Australia, I got 3rd. I was the highest scoring ever U.S. soldier that's ever been there. And I also hold a couple records now in Canada. I had one match that was a very hard match to shoot. They called it the rundown. You started out at 500 yards, you'd fire 2 shots, 2 at 4, 2 at 3, 2 at 2, and 2 at 1. And I shot a perfect score on it. It's the only time it's ever been done.
You're out here today trying to pass on that knowledge, and I'm hearing from the blue side that you're even helping them out.
Yeah, I
Tell me
am.
about that.
Yep. I'm here to help anybody who wants any help with anything to do with marksmanship. That's my new job now. I'm going to be traveling around with these, whoever wins, taking them to the different places so I can kind of explain the matches and get them ready for them.
Explain the exercise that's going on right now a little bit.
Chinese horde. Really, we shouldn't be shooting it here anymore because we've quit shooting it in competitions whenever you leave the state. It's been 3 years since we've shot it anywhere else. Little Rock, Arkansas started it. The way it's supposed to be set up is it's like if you're in a base camp and you get aggressed and you have to run up to your foxhole, jump in your foxhole and commence firing. It started out that they give you 90 rounds for 90 shots, but everybody kept turning rounds in. It's almost impossible to get all your shots off. So they decided then after that, with the all guard shooting it enough, they figured 60 shots is your average of what you can get off and get off accurately. So that's why we cut it back to 60. But it's a good match. It's fun. That's if the targets all work. Today we're having problems.
Take us through tomorrow, or the 2 days of competition. What's going to happen to these guys?
We're going to be shooting a lot of the newer matches where we shoot the new EIC matches. They just changed them. Last year was the first year we shot the new EIC matches, and they usually try to change it about every 10 years so people don't get used to the matches and you know them right off the top of your head. They try to keep you on your toes, so, which is a good thing. If you get too used to a match, the older guys are always going to have the advantage on the young guys because you're going to know everything what's happening. That's why they try to rotate it around a little. And they tried to make them more combat orientated the last few years, where when I first started shooting combat, it was a lot like the old national match. You walked up to the line, you had 2 minutes to fire 10 shots in the standing. You know, it was pretty simple. Now it's you walk up to the line, you shoot a lot of shots real fast. Sometimes you only got, like the one match, you only got 25 seconds to shoot 10 shots. That's booking.
And if you're going into the final round and you got your teammates with you, what's one sentence you'd tell them?
I've told my teammates a lot of things a lot of times. Biggest thing is I always tell them just to shoot their own game. Make sure that they're doing their own thing. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Do what you know what to do. Don't try changing anything in a match. That's the biggest thing I preach to my guys. When it gets real close and it gets right down so you know you're within a couple points of the other team, I usually try to save my strongest shooter and have him always be the last guy up to bat. And you can kind of walk up to an old shooter and tell him, okay, this is what we need to do. And you can kind of depend upon him. Over the years, I've had that. Now I've got a pretty new team, but I got a couple guys I could walk up to and say, this is what we need to do, and they'll probably do it for me. So.
Tell me a little bit about your deployments and what you did in Iraq both times.
Well, when we were deployed to Iraq both times, we've been the roadside bomb hunters. And the first time, a lot of bad memories. The last time, that went very well. We had better equipment, we were better set up for it. The leadership pretty much knew what we were going into. The first time we didn't. Nobody had a clue. You know, we were one of the first groups to do it, and it was tough. It was a tough mission.
Do you remember on 9/11 what you were doing?
I sure do. That morning I was getting ready to go to work in my car. I had a Camaro carburetor took a poop on me, and I had to tear it apart. So I stayed home that day. I took the day off, and I just tore the carburetor off, took it in the house, spread it out a nice little piece of paper, and I was working on it and watching TV, and this came on TV, the special report, and you know, I thought, what's this now? The airplane flew into the tower. Somebody was a little off course when the second one hit. I knew right then and there, we're going somewhere. I don't know where, but we're going somewhere.
All right.
Tell me about your family.
Have a beautiful wife, stuck with me for all the shooting all these years, and 2 kids. I have a boy and a girl.
How old?
And my boy is 25 and my daughter is 23. And my daughter, she's just going to start college now. She wants to be an RN, so I switched all my college benefits over to her just this weekend. So, but the kid can shoot. He shoots small bore with me in the winter time, and right now I got to keep watching my butt because he's right on it. So he's right there.
Stand ready on the right.
Anything you want to add?
Shooters, you will not be carrying ammunition in your hands.
Well,
It all has to be put away in your magazine.
Pretty much about all I can say is anybody that's interested in the shooting program, I suggest they get into it and try it at least, because it's got a lot of advantages for anybody to try to do. Try it and see if they like it.